Hi, this is Chris Chenoweth. About 5 years ago, we presented on an early television broadcast how to break the worry habit. It has been requested over and over again. And we've even presented it on a recent cruise. Well, now we're going to present it to you again because we have a new audience. President Truman once said the buck stops here. He had a plaque on his desk that said the buck stops here. Well, we need to take that attitude too about life. When something's not working, we need to say, this is it. It stops right here. The buck stops here. We need to stop passing the buck of worry. And we need to say with high confidence, connected with God, the worry stops here. In 2 Corinthians 5, verses 6 through 8, it states, "So we are always confident. We walk by faith, not by sight." And therein is the problem. When we walk by sight, and when we're constantly reacting to what we see or what we hear, instead of walking by faith. Jesus said, don't judge by appearances. It's the same thing. We have to build our life and move through our life with faith. And when we do that, when we realize what we're connected to all the time, then we have a high confidence. All the time. No matter what is happening around us, we're grounded in God. Let me give you a story. There was a man and his son, and this is some time back. They were traveling to market. They loaded their cart with all their vegetables that they grew. They were going to sell the vegetables in the market. The cart was connected to an ox, and the ox cart moved very slow down the path. The father seemed to enjoy every mile. The father enjoyed life, but not the son. The son was agitated, constantly pulling on the ox, trying to get the ox to move faster. He said to his father, "Father, if we travel all day and all night because we're moving so slow, we'll be able to sell our vegetables in the market early tomorrow morning." But the father says, now, son, enjoy the trip. We don't get to take this trip very often. Enjoy yourself. And the father goes to sleep on the slow-moving ox cart. The father wakes up, and he says to his son that is now circling the ox cart and the ox, he says, "I want to stop and see my uncle." Well, the son protests. He's practically pulling out his hair with worry. Well, the father gets his way. They visit the uncle. And after a wonderful night visiting the uncle, where the father and the uncle have such a good time, but of course the son doesn't. The son can't even sleep because he's pacing back and forth with worry, so agitated about getting on the road, getting to the market. They're back in the ox cart, they're traveling down the path, and they come to a fork in the road. Well, the left side of the fork, that's the fastest way to the city, but the right is more scenic. And the father says, "Oh, it is far prettier to go this way." The son, worried and tense, said, "Father, you don't want to make money. What's wrong with you, Father?" Well, the father enjoys every mile, enjoys the mountains, the flowers, the scenic views. The flower that the father smells along the way is the best scent that he's ever smelled. The son says to the father, "Father, this is the last time I go with you. I think you care more about those flowers than you do making money. And the father says, son, that's the nicest thing you've ever said to me. They spent the night that night next to a beautiful lake and woke up in the morning. As they started towards the city, the son saw a huge ball of lightning over the city. And the son said, all agitated and filled with worry, now, see what you've done, Father. Now, we're going to be in a storm. Why, if we would have hurried, we would have already been there. And the father said, don't worry. Don't be in such a hurry. You're letting life pass by you instead of taking time to smell the roses. As they went over the crest of the hill, listen to this true story. As they went over the crest of the hill, they looked down on the city of Hiroshima and the ashes of what used to be. When you are connected to God, you are always protected. When you're connected with God, you're relaxed. When you're connected with God, you see the beauty. When you're connected with God, you understand that the detours are the real blisses of life. When you're connected with God, you are protected because you're not in such a human rush like the hamster on the wheel, moving faster and faster and getting nowhere. God bless you, my friend. I pray today the buck stops here of worry, and that all day long you're connected with God.